Part of my project of trying to rewild my very suburban garden, I have left a bunch of dead wood around in the garden. Apparently, dead wood is super important because as it decomposes, it creates a whole range of habitats for a bunch of animals. Anything from, just branches, small branches, to this is a stump. And here in front I have a small log, and I got bigger logs around. Anywhere between, I think the oldest is about 3 years now, to the youngest is one behind the camera, which is about a week old. And by doing this, it apparently creates a bunch of habitat for a whole range of hundreds, if not thousands, of little insects. This personally, I even built some hole to kind of increase the speed. I left it here last fall, and it's already degenerating, changing. It's like right there. Oh, there's a little bug in there. That's super awesome, actually. But it's super simple. I just leave pieces of wood alone. Where most people, like, if I do the hedge, like or anything, like, you trim it, most people would pile it up and then throw it out and get rid of it. I just leave it in a pile, and that pile is supposed to be full of life. There are certain species of birds around here that needs it for protection. A bunch of insects live off of it, hide in it. It's almost a fence, a big pile of branches. And in these, hedgehogs will winter. Like, they will hibernate underneath these piles. When we bought this house, I started making these piles, and that's 3.5 years ago, and now the effects of them is showing up. Last summer, we saw at least 4 hedgehogs in this garden, which is kind of incredible. In 2001, I caught one on a trail cam. That was the only one we saw. Last summer, I saw 4 in different times in the garden. I talked to my neighbor just over here a few days ago, and she mentioned she had seen more hedgehogs last summer. I have a very strong suspicion why she's seeing more hedgehogs. And that's pretty cool. Like, that's one of the key species I want in this garden. It was hedgehogs. They are super nice. You don't see them very often because they're nighttime active. So the fact that I saw 4 really indicates a lot of activity here. So the piles are basically creating a habitat for them, a place to hibernate, and these creates food for them. Like, these are hotspots for food for these guys. And I'm very proud that that's actually worked. I wasn't sure it was going to work, but here we are, and it did. Again, it was the simplest thing I did. I just left pieces of wood and yard trimmings in the yard. I didn't have to do anything with it. This was, like I said, this was last year. It now looks like this. Brand new woods have been placed. I have a bunch of stuff. Like, there's another one over here. You can kind of see the difference here. On top, it's pretty dry, and on the bottom, it's starting to decompose a bit. You can even see the color difference. And I just threw it last year, fall. I just threw it in the garden. Boom, done. This is the only one where I drilled holes just to see what would happen. And it's been super interesting to see how the species are showing up. And it's super interesting to see, like, and how it's just progressing. I'm really looking forward to the effects of these on a grander scale, because last fall a pretty big storm hit, and quite a few trees knocked over. So I got my hands on a bunch of wood. So last fall really got, like, there's wood everywhere now. But now I figured it's time to go have a look in the different stages. I'll also show you the pile. But let's just get into it. What we have here is our stage 1 pile log. It is brand new. It's a little wet. I left it here about a week ago, and as you can see, there's some discoloration here. That's all that's happened to it yet. This is gonna turn into some really nice habitat, like in a year, maybe 2. This was left here last fall, late summer. I drilled some holes in it. This has actually provided some homes for some animals, some species of bugs. And as you can see, it's it's already rotting. Like, I can just peel this. That's really getting useful now. Now you want to see just what it does. Let's see here. Just lift this up. And see here you have like a small ant colony. There's actually several kinds of ants. Here, just see, we have some reddish yellow ants, and a little bit here we got some black ants. And you can even see the rot here in the wood starting. So it's actually created a place for a very interesting little anthill here. So I find super relevant, and I love seeing how life just proliferate in these places. How it just starts with me abandoning something. Like, I don't do anything and then something happens. So here's what I did with all, the hedge trimmings, and when I pruned like this tree here, which had it's a hazelnut tree, so it's not really a tree, it's a bush. It's a very big bush, and it just sprouts all the time, so I have to constantly trim it, and then I just prune it is the right word, and I just throw it all here in these piles that I just put some stakes in just to control it somewhat. And this, as far as I can understand, would create a habitat for hedgehogs, which will then, they will crawl under. Here they're completely safe, nothing can get to them, no cats, no foxes, nothing. And then they'll hibernate in these piles. I was considering putting in nest boxes, but I haven't. Also, some birds will fly in and hide to protect themselves. Like, if you've seen some of my posts and stuff, you'll notice that there are hawks coming into this garden, so this is just more places for them to hide. Now, one of the things that the previous owners left for me in the garden was this piece of wood. It's an old tree that they chopped here, and then they just didn't chop down the rest because they like this plant. Now I like this. This is now, well, it's at least 4 years old. It was here when I inspected the property, so that's 4 years ago. This is probably 6, 7 years old, and you can really feel it. It's like, it's hollow. It is just, you see, I can just push it like this. Like, this is a solid log, and I can just, like, there's not much left in it. But it has then created, this is the last stage really of what would happen in the wild. Because this thing is now just standing here. There are a bunch of little holes here. I haven't made these. This is probably the woodpecker that's been pecking at it, trying to get stuff. And now it's covered in fungi. This is really cool. It's a completely different species than I'm anticipating for, but this is what you get. You even get fungi in your garden. And all you have to do is nothing. Now what we have here is a very late stage decomposing. This is just falling. Oh, look at that! Just can you guys see these? Let's see if I can zoom in on these guys. Just look at the life in here. That is just amazing. Now it's spring, so this is not a problem. This is basically late stage decomposing. You can see how much life there is. This is just, you can even see all the work that's been doing in here by all the insects that are living off of it. It is just amazing to me how these big blocks, like there's 2 of them, they're completely hollowed out now. And I left these 3 years ago. This has created like a small city of insects. And again, it just creates life and food for things. I have done nothing but leave it. And then this just happens on its own. And this is the beauty about this. It's so simple. And it was the easiest part of this whole project. Just leave some wood. I can't wait to see how this develops as to, all of these pieces of wood are starting to decompose, and you're gonna see animals scattered more around. You're gonna see a lot more insects. I'm gonna enjoy watching what I assume is gonna be more woodpeckers. I have a lot of woodpeckers around here. I'm gonna enjoy watching them go at it at these logs, trying to find insects they can eat. It's been a really chill project over the last few years. It's just so easy, so simple. Anybody can really do it. You just gotta find a piece of wood and leave it. And then you will create more life in your garden. It's been super chill, it's super fun to watch, and there's just like I enjoy taking my 2-year-old son out with me now and just looking at a piece of log. Like, he is so excited to see all the bugs, and it's a great way to interact with nature and give him great experiences. So 10 out of 10, I recommend just leaving wood in your wild garden. So if you enjoyed it and you like watching my usually failed attempts, but this time successful attempts at rewilding a old boomer rose garden into a wildlife haven, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you don't, that's also perfectly fine. I hope you have a nice day, and maybe you'll watch another video, maybe not. Leave a comment if there's something you think I should do different, or if there's something you think I should try. I basically have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm just testing things out. And bye.